So welcome back to the Barbells, Bikinis and Biz podcast. That is the second time I have nearly forgotten the name of my own podcast, so this is not going well. But today I have got another guest on, someone who is probably equally, if not more, brutally sarcastic as me, which I think could make a pretty fun, good podcast. You may know him as Christian Chapman. You may also know him as Christian Cars and Crepes and all that wonderful whatever you. You've had a fair few Instagram names across the years. I don't know what you were when I first followed you. It was Christian some Cars and
Christian Cars and Cars, I think was what most people remember it as.
I think that's what when I started following you. But the main reason I actually wanted to get Christian on was not just for the sarcasm. That's one thing. But it was because me and Christian can relate to each other in something that I don't think many people in the bodybuilding industry can. And that is that we have both come from an eating disorder background, but that we also have both been on both ends of the scale, pardon the pun, in that we have both experienced what it's like to be both severely underweight and quite overweight as well, which is a topic which we're going to delve into in the podcast. But if people don't know you, give a brief introduction to yourself and 3 fun, interesting facts about yourself.
Fucking hell. Well, it would help if I was fun or interesting. So, coached by Christian on Instagram, that's what most people will know me as. This is Luna. She's already started to get involved. If you're watching, that is Luna. So, online coach, quote-unquote bodybuilder, tries to be anyway. 3 fun and interesting facts. Literally, I regard myself as a very boring person. In terms of like what I do day to day, people think I'm funny or something, apparently. Honestly, I can't think of a fun or interesting, and that's really bad.
Okay, what about 3 things that people might not know about you?
Oh, fuck. Oh, man. I'm so shit at these questions. Don't know about me. I think everyone knows most things about me because I'm so like, I would put my life on Instagram. I don't care. Yeah. I think it's funny.
I do respect about you is that you are so open and honest, which I think a lot of people aren't. There's a lot of fakeness in the industry, and what's good about you is you just put all your cards on the table. You say it how it is, and I think that is why a lot of people like you, because they can relate to you, because they know everything you say isn't just bullshit, like just for the followers and the likes.
I hear that word a lot thrown at me is relatable.
Yeah, 100%.
But I don't do that on purpose for any reason. I do that just that's who I am. But it turns out it's like quite a good business move.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one comes to me for coach, in my opinion, for my physique, because I don't have a great physique. That's just my opinion. Mm-hmm. And I'm okay with that. Like, it's better than it was fucking last year, so that's all I care about. But it's because I've been every single part of the spectrum and that I am relatable.
And I think people now more than ever are picking up on fakeness, and when people are sponsored by certain people, that sponsor post this, sponsor post that, and people are picking up on that more than ever. So I think having relatable people is really good. But what I want to sort of start with in terms of the topic, which is going to be sort of about the eating disorders background and how it relates to bodybuilding, is yourself. So how did you transition into fitness, and sort of what is your background getting into bodybuilding?
Yeah, okay, cool. Well, first off, I will say, like, bodybuilding and eating disorders, I feel that most people in this industry have some sort of disordered eating.
Yeah, I agree.
Because at the end of the day, what all of us do is not deemed as normal to the general population. No. But at the same time, someone eating 2 meals a day to me is not normal.
No.
Do you know what I mean? So it's swings around about something. But how I got into it, I was always like an overweight child, but my dad always put it down to, you've just got puppy fat.
Yeah.
And all that sticks in my mind to this day. And he was like, it'll go. It never went. And I got just like addicted to cardio.
Yeah.
That I would do. I remember my parents were like members of David Lloyd when we were growing up. And I would go with them and spend an hour and a half, 2 hours on the bike. Just keep pedaling. I felt like I just did not get tired. And the thing that kept me going was like, I'm thinner, I'm definitely thinner, and then I literally just couldn't stop. And I just was not eating at all. And I was scared to eat. And I can remember this will be something some people don't know about me. So we can go back to the first bit that I fucked up on. It's quite like a deep thing, but I can remember on holiday, my mom was getting my brother to follow me to the toilet because she thought I was making herself sick, which in turn I was, but when he weren't there. So that kind of got out of hand. And like 16, 17 was diagnosed as anorexic. And then I went like complete opposite after that. I think I just kind of got a grip with myself and was like, well, just put weight on then. And then just put on fucking like so much weight. And I'm very much, I can just flip to different things. I've got a really addictive personality.
Yeah.
Like really bad. Like, so I can go from one extreme to the other. And once I start like finding out about things, I get addicted to it.
Makes sense.
So I think I got addicted to food when I got big.
This is This is really strange in that is literally my sort of story as well. So when you said you had like the puppy fat when you were quote unquote a bit bigger when you were younger, was that just because you sort of, looking back now, overate, or is that just your natural sort of build?
That is just my natural build, 100%. I've always been a bit of a bigger boy. And yeah, I can also remember that the first time I ever lifted weights, my body seemed to just get wider and bigger, but I was just getting fatter as well. It was weird. But so yeah, I went on to the other end of the spectrum. I got up to about like 20 stone at my biggest. Which I don't know what that is in pounds or kilos, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of both.
It's a decent amount, yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, it wasn't even that I was like eating a lot. Like, I was, okay, so I used to run like bars, restaurants, nightclubs, hotels, stuff like that. And a lot of the places were like fine dining, eating places.
Yeah.
And because like when you're higher up in that sort of world, when you're the GM places, you just eat there every night. Yeah. And you don't think about it. You just, and then it would be, you know, when you finish on the weekend at 4 a.m, you just go and get a fucking pizza.
Yeah.
And it's not like I wasn't active. I didn't used to like track steps. I didn't know what steps were. I don't know who coined the phrase steps, but I was walking a fuck ton around those venues.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it as well comes down to high fucking stress, because that job is high stress all the fucking time. It's eating at stupid o'clock in the morning, and it's eating every day. That's not nice. Yeah, it's eating at stupid o'clock in the morning, and it's eating like very calorically dense food.
Yeah.
And then sleeping until like the afternoon. You had no structure in terms of food or anything. I didn't know, you know, and I just got really fucking fat. And then from then, again, the cardio king in me came out, and I'd always been into like bodybuilding and like bigger physiques and the big guys. Not into them sexually, but like I liked that look, and I was like, I always would train for like 2 months at a time and then just stop, and then because I never really used to see any like noticeable result. And then a newer kind of gym opened near me, which I still go to when it is open. And I like got addicted to the Stairmaster, and weight literally just flew off me. And then I started like properly quote unquote properly, getting into lifting weights and stuff like that. Yeah. And then there was a guy in there who used to do like diet plans and stuff. And I was like, I'm going to give myself a time frame and just get like as lean as I possibly can, but in a healthier way. It didn't turn out being that healthy, but I did get like as lean as I possibly could have at that point with the little amount of muscle that I had. Did a photo shoot at the end of it. God, I do not like looking back on those pictures. But since then, it has been an absolute addiction. And like I said about like this time, like it's literally my life.
Yeah.
Like bodybuilding is everything I do all day, and I find it physically impossible to switch off from it.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is a bad thing.
No.
I think I need to work on my balance that everyone talks about, because I don't have any, in my opinion. I work 7 days a week, and it's a bodybuilding related work. My phone doesn't ever switch off. It's constant. So yeah, that's kind of the background in a very long nutshell.
Yeah, it is a strange one though, because that is literally so, like what you're saying there, literally is very, very similar to what happened with me. The only sort of difference in my sort of story, if we want to call it that, is that my chubbier younger days were sort of stress, anxiety based. It was, I don't want to call it comfort eating or binge eating, because I don't want to coin it as a term, but it definitely was. Is this for the gram?
Yes, that was for the gram.
That was for the gram. Excellent. I've got a my own business on my phone as well. Yes. Self-obsessed humans, right? So, off on a tangent. Yeah. Repping. So yeah, as I was saying, it's more binge eating. But then I fell into the behaviours of the anorexia. One thing you said there is you sort of just knew that you needed to gain weight. So was that a case of you got help for that, or you just sort of got yourself through that?
Yeah, in such, but I hate asking for help. I hate it, because I think it's the male in me, the meathead in me, is that like I don't want to feel like I need help off someone else. I want to be able to do it myself.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of mindset I've always had, I think, deep down. Because a lot of people message me on Instagram like, how do you get through this? I had someone I haven't spoke to for years, message me over there out of the blue, like, I'm going through a breakup, how on earth do you get over yours? And my honest answer is just man the fuck up and get over it. Like that's the way I deal with it. I just get over it. Like I can't give any sound advice, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a fucking psychologist or anything, but I'm very much right, okay, move on, let's go.
Yeah.
And do it as quickly as possible normally I'm the most impatient man in the world. So I think that goes in my favour with that sort of thing as well, because I know it's a really serious subject and it is not as easy as just eat more.
No, it's not.
Because you tell someone who's got that mindset, and yeah, they'll eat more, they'll also move twice as much, so they don't gain weight. Which again, I've been a fucking culprit of, like, even like not even long ago, like whilst I've been doing bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Of I know I've overeaten, so I'm gonna move more so I don't put on weight. Which I think there's a fine balance with that sort of thing. And you touched on binge eating. I went through that big time, that first diet I did with that photo shoot.
Yeah.
Because he was like, yeah, cheat meal every Saturday night. The leaner you get, the harder you fucking cheat.
Yeah, 100%.
And it gets fucking... I just would have an insatiable appetite, a bottomless pit, and just keep going. I can't remember what I was saying just before that.
I can't remember myself. You're asking someone who's on low carbs right now to try and remember something.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the fine line of overeating and then overexerting. Okay.
Yeah.
Unpopular opinion. I don't think there's anything wrong in this. Okay. If you know what you're doing. Okay. There's no negative to knowing your expenditure balance. Okay.
Yeah.
In your activity balance. Like if I go on holiday, okay, I'm a restless person anyway, and I don't like sitting around the pool. I want to explore everywhere. Yeah. And when you do that, you're going to accumulate a lot of fucking activity. which also means you can eat what the fuck you want on holiday.
Yeah.
And when I go on holiday, I want to eat what I want because I'm going away to relax.
Exactly.
And me over moving is a way of balancing me going back a fat fuck.
I think the issues rise when it's the emotional response that's attached to it. So you know you've overeaten and you're stressing and you're panicking that you have to go and then do some more activity, or you have to do this. And if you don't, the anxiety rises. And I think that's when it's problematic. But like you've said, if you're doing it because it's creating the energy balance, because subconsciously you do it anyway. When you think about a reverse diet, like I did I don't like to talk about myself, but it's a good example, right? So I did a reverse diet last year, finished my cut and started reversing my diet. I brought calories up and I dropped weight because the increase in calories meant I was just moving more subconsciously. Like it wasn't even a conscious thing. I was training harder, I was moving more, and I dropped weight on more calories. So it's the same sort of principle that naturally you would move more anyway, really.
Yeah. I think the problem arises when you're doing it every single day at home.
Yeah.
Like, look, everyone loves having more food and stuff like that. And when you're on holiday, trying different things brings me in an unstressed state. And I am very relaxed around that sort of occasion. And I like that. What would stress me out is being fat by the time I get on holiday, by the time I get back off holiday.
Yeah.
So I will go out and explore. But that's also my personality is I don't like sitting down.
No.
I want to be out exploring and stuff like that. So I don't know where this tangent's kind of come from, but
no, I don't either.
Again, I think people might relate to that because
it's all relevant.
Yeah, we were talking about if you give someone more food, they're just going to move more because it's not as easy as don't be anorexic anymore.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
Can't say that. Yeah.
So one thing I sort of wanted to touch upon again, I think this is a topic that not many people will necessarily be able to relate to, but people who've been in our position might be able to relate to. So when you've been in that state before, so when you were in that, anorexic state, quote unquote, I'm guessing like most people, you can't see it yourself how small you are and how unwell you actually are. Now, when you get lean in the bodybuilding sense, when you've done your cuts now, how much do you think what you've experienced before transfers over into sort of cutting now, or do you think now you are better at seeing it in a more objective light?
Yeah, I would say 100% of it transfers over. Because I think anyone feels like that. Like, well, most people do. Say 90% of the bodybuilding, they want to see themselves lean.
Yeah.
And I used to have an issue with pushing back up big time when I didn't have a coach. If you struggle with anything to do with fucking gaining weight and being quote unquote not lean anymore, get a fucking coach, especially one that understands. Yeah. Because there is no way I could have put on near enough 20 pounds of muscle this year without having a coach, because I would have dieted 30 pounds before I stopped.
Yeah.
It was a constant up and down. Oh, I'm going to mini cut. And then the mini cut would just turn into a full on diet because I get, like I keep saying, addicted to the process of looking leaner, looking better and all that sort of stuff. But I think everyone knows how to progress because it's sprouted about in the industry so much. You've got to gain weight and you've got to get a little bit softer, or hate when people say fluffy. Fucking
this is fluffy.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And it's like everyone knows how to do it, but they are scared to do it. What I always try and remind people of, especially like clients of mine and stuff like that who are in a gaining phase, you're still leaner than 95% of the population. Yeah. Not the bodybuilding population, the population of the world. Okay, because most people are out of shape. To anyone else, people are going to look at you and think, fucking hell, he's in good shape. Yeah. Just know that if you want to look the same every year, then keep doing what you're doing and keep fucking mini cutting all the time, because it serves no fucking purpose half the time. People mini cut when they're lean.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing?
I think
Just
that's
challenge yourself. Set it as a fucking challenge of, you know what, I'm not going to fucking stop. So it does 100% transfer over.
Yeah.
Look, even now, I'm 6 weeks post diet where, and it's not me being up my own arse, I was ready to hit a stage there and then.
Yeah, you were very lean.
And I still have a little bit of an issue with the scales going up.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I think anyone does, like, and that's okay, but it doesn't stop me doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't dictate my day. If the scale weight goes up, I don't eat less. I just continue doing what I'm meant to be doing.
I don't think this is talked about as much in males, which is good that you are speaking out about it, because I think when it comes to females in gaining phases and gaining body fat, it's very much sort of appreciated and understood that females are going to struggle. Well, more so people who've had issues in the past. And again, what you were saying about getting a coach, it's the best thing I've done. I've had 2 coaches in the past who've, both my previous and the one who I'm with now, Vicky, both had issues with food in the past, and so their understanding of it has been a godsend. Anytime I've had many sort of head wobbles, they're just like, they know how to deal with it. I've had a coach in the past who didn't understand or appreciate it, who just thought, you know, bigger was better and didn't understand the emotional response, and then that made me struggle more. So I totally get a coach who gets it. But I don't think it is talked about enough that males struggle as well with weight gain, because I think people think, oh, guys want to be big, guys want to, you know, be bigger. And you see sometimes, I'd say more gen pop rather than people population, when guys like, oh, I feel small, I've actually lost size, I've lost weight. But I think that's not always the case, and I think there is a big thing of guys actually being, especially sort of after a show and being very lean, and actually reversing and seeing the scale go up.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot more males than you would think. And I think that there's surprising names up there, because I can name fucking hundreds now that I know because we speak about it. And it's like, like you just said, like, oh, males want to be big. Mate, I want to be the biggest guy ever, but I also don't want to be fat. And unfortunately, at some point, it's going to go a little bit hand in hand. But again, you kind of just need to remind yourself that are you really fat? You're probably not.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Let's get a subjective view of it. But like, compared to what we can get down to in terms of body fat levels, then yeah, it's fucking really fat to us. Like, if you looked at my end of off season, you think that guy is a fat cunt. I was like waterlogged. Like I look at these pictures and I cringe looking at them, and I think, fucking hell. But like, I always say to myself, if I can look okay in a t-shirt, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I don't mind looking bigger, like, and having a rounder face. If people are like, I know I shouldn't care what people think, but everyone does. Let's be honest.
Of course we do.
If you're in a t-shirt, people go, fuck me, he's a big guy.
Yeah.
Because you can hide body fat that way. But, and at the same time, you've got to remember, the more muscle you have, the less body fat you will be putting on. But what do you need to gain muscle? Body fat. But over the years, when you keep getting bigger and you keep adding more muscle, the leaner you will look.
And like you said, you put on so many pounds of muscle, so it's paid off.
Yeah, 100%. It was the best thing I ever did. And someone messaged me the other day, and I've never blocked anyone on Instagram because I find some messages funny, like when people are trying to have an argument. And this guy was just like, no, you need to stay like 5 to 10 pounds within, like, when you've been like shredded. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he was really irritating me. He's like, you put on 60 pounds for no reason. I was like, okay, well, I gained 20 pounds of muscle in a year and was leaner. So if anything, it was probably more than 20 pounds.
Did you stalk his profile? I bet he had a really good physique, this guy.
Yeah, no, well, he was lean.
Well, yeah.
But he's always going to be that size.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look back and you can laugh at those people, I know it sounds harsh, but these people that are scared to push up need to just grow a pair of fucking bollocks. And I don't care if someone wants to stay lean.
No, it's not an issue.
Because, okay, prime example, okay, someone like Rob Lipsett.
Yeah.
He has all the muscle he'll ever want now because it's his business model. He looks like a guy that looks good at the beach. And if you ever see this guy in real life, I tell you, you will think he looks like a child. Like, he's just got that physique. But it looks good when he's got his clothes off. And he's more than happy to stay like that. You're right. And if that's what you want to do and that's what makes you happy, sweet, do that. Okay. But also know that you're never going to gain muscle that way, really. Okay. You might gain a pound over like a couple of years or a year, especially if you're natural, which he most definitely is. But don't be the person that stays lean all year round and then says, I can't put size on.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Because I don't care what anyone does. You do what you want to do, but don't be the person that comes and moans.
Yeah.
Because I can't put muscle on and then stays lean all year round.
Yeah. So earlier on, you sort of touched on that. You said something like the bodybuilding is your life now, and you do sort of struggle to get that balance. Now, moving on to a sort of more positive side first, because we always like to look at the positives. Look on the glasses half full, even though that is more than half full. But you know what I'm saying. If you're listening to this via audio, you will not understand that. I just showed a full glass, basically. So how has bodybuilding and having the structure of it actually helped you? Not just from the sort of the food stance and the body image stance, but maybe as a person as well, and with business and just life in general.
It's taught me to be more patient than I normally am, for a start, and realizing that shit doesn't happen overnight. And that goes to not like just to me, but when I'm talking to clients and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's also built a business, and it's shown that I'm the most resilient man I've ever met, and will just keep we'll just keep going no matter what. Yeah. It's just built a pretty rock solid mindset, and that's like with everything in my life. But I say there's not much else in my life, so do you know what I mean? But those are some positives from it. I think I'm also more confident now as a person, whereas everyone always used to say to me when I was younger, man, you're like the life and soul of the pot, you're the most confident man. And deep down, I am not confident at all. I'm very good at acting because I've been basically a salesman my entire life. And all that is an act of getting someone to like you so they buy something. Yeah. Which I used to be really good at. But now it's less of an act and it's more of actually I'm a little bit confident now. Yeah. But still, previous people in my life have put that confidence in the absolute gutters. And I think when you're into bodybuilding, I think it's even worse because you're so self-subjective. Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it, compared to any other sort of sport, or in that it's all about what you do day in, day out, and it is literally then judged upon how you look. Yeah. Which is a very strange one. Not how hard you work. Obviously, you know, working hard will pay off, but you could do everything. You could do 200 times more than the person stood next to you, but they've just got better genetics, or wank. It's a strange one in that respect, and I think it is a strange one sometimes to sort of discuss being into bodybuilding when you've had that past, because when you've had that past, that's all about body image and how you've looked, and to then do something that literally picks apart how you look, it almost seems like counterintuitive. Yeah, but then at the same time, I agree. It's, for me, getting into it has literally
saved me with my issues with food and body image. Like, I'm not perfect. I'm not there. I'm not where I want to be. I still sometimes do have mini wobbles when it comes to being off plan because I like to stick to things. But like you said, I'm more confident now in myself and how I look. And I'm starting to build a business and be in an industry and a job that I love. And yeah, it is good. But when you're saying you struggle with this balance, do you think that struggle is something that is just a behavioural trait because it's such an addictive personality, relates to your past? What do you think makes you struggle with the balance side of things?
Yeah, I think exactly what you've just said. Like, the past doesn't help. But at the same time, like, I don't really care about not having balance. Like, I like what I do every day.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to keep doing it. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like, I know it sounds bad, but all I've got is in this house is me and this dog. Okay. I can be selfish because I've got no one else to fucking please here. Do you know what I mean? And this lifestyle of bodybuilding is incredibly selfish. And sometimes that's okay. However, if I had a missus, let's say, then I would be more like, well, okay, I would be less selfish because of the personality I have when I have a missus. But like, my balance now is I don't have any, because fortunately, in my opinion, I get to just concentrate on myself. And my circle of friends is one hand, you know. And even them, I'm probably going to see once a month.
Yeah.
All the others are just acquaintances that say they know me because they know me on Instagram. I'll say hello at the gym or whatever. But when people say like, "Oh, I haven't got balance. I need to find balance," I think sometimes you need to realise: do you actually want balance? I don't right now, because I like this. To me, is balance.
Yeah.
Because I've only got one thing to balance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that sounds weird, but
it makes sense.
To anyone that is seeking balance, make sure that you actually want it first, because there's nothing wrong with loving what you're doing right now.
That's a good point. So would you say that, and this is
people try and change this whole balance thing because people on Instagram are telling them to.
Yeah, no, that is a really good point. So for people like you, me, I mean, it might be very different for yourself, but would you say that, I guess this is how you look at it, because I would look at it as one way, that does being into bodybuilding and into this sort of lifestyle of structure help you overcome issues, or does it just mask them?
Oh.
I know, deep, right?
In previous, mask them, I think, and now not so much. And I say it because if someone invited me out for a meal now, and I had no plans and I wanted to actually see that person and I wanted to actually have that meal, I'd just go out and do it. I wouldn't think about it. If someone invited me anywhere, regardless of food, a year ago, I wouldn't have gone because I was too scared of coming out of routine. So I think previously masked, probably because I just think of any excuse to get out of anything. And like, even now, my previous job, like, if they'd invite me out to like the staff party, I just would not go. Not because of bodybuilding normally because I don't want to hang around with people I have to work with for more than the working hours. But that's just me. I'm quite an antisocial person. And I think bodybuilding can turn people into antisocial people. But I also think most bodybuilders are antisocial before they even fucking begin.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't even think I've answered that question, but
no, you did and you didn't. I think it will sort of depend on what stage you're at. Like, for me, I think there was a point like yourself where for me it was a mask of issues like yourself. Like, I was scared to go out for meals and break routine and defer from a plan. So I would make up an excuse. I can't come. I don't have any money. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
But then I look to where I'm at now that I'm further down the line, and I would say it's helped me to overcome, in the respect that I don't really have as many issues with food. I don't have huge issues with my body. I understand energy balance, and I understand, when to do cardio, when it's appropriate, not. So I think it can be both, but it depends how much you know and what stage you're at with what.
Yeah, early stages is going to be difficult because you think, well, normally if someone tells you to go out for a meal, they're either going to absolutely pig out or they're not going to go at all.
Yeah.
Because they don't know how to have a normal meal to their appetite. They don't know how to be like, okay, let's say my last meal on a rest day is steak and veg. Well, you do realise you can go out to most places and order that. Yeah. Is it going to be more calories than you're having now? Probably. Does that matter? No. Unless you've got the show the next day, it doesn't fucking matter. Because most of these people that are worrying don't have a show in sight.
No, that was literally me when I first started. Now, when I first started, I had in a relationship at the time, and most times he'd obviously want to go out for food, and I would make up excuses like, "Oh, I'm busy with this, working." And then the one time we did, I was like, "Oh, let's go," because it was near Christmas. They had those like set menus, like 3 courses, and I was like, "Oh, let's go for that." And he goes, "Are you sure? Because you're doing your fitness and everything." I was like, "No, let's go for that." And honestly, I was stuffed. And I think I then ate when I got home, just went all out because I couldn't just go for a burger and chips. I had to have the burger and chips and the nachos and the milkshake and the cake as well.
Yeah. It's a difficult line. I don't think other people who don't know about it, like people you work with, understand how to communicate. Like, oh, is that not going to, oh, you're actually going to have that? You're not going to, and people are just fucking idiots. That is another reason why I don't like being around people.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you grab a meal out, what's that? Why are you eating that? What's in that? Fuck off. I've worked here for 2 years and I've ate the same. You know what it is. You're just trying to wind me up.
And again, I think it depends what stage you're at. When you're in the earlier stages, that can be quite off-putting and make you feel a bit shit about yourself. But when you're confident about it, you can be like, "Well, yeah, I'm having this," and it doesn't phase you quite as much. And in some ways, it's quite funny or just annoying. But I think at first it can actually upset you a bit because you feel a bit awkward because you're doing something that's not a social norm, so to speak.
Yeah. Or why can't you just have this? Can't you just have this? No, I can't. Fuck off. But the thing is, I can have that if I want, but I don't want to.
Exactly. So, sort of the final sort of point I want to cover is, we sort of, I think, mentioned at the start when you said that pretty much everyone in bodybuilding has an issue with food. That is obviously because of what social norms are, but social norms is a social construct of to what is normal. It's that fine line of doing something that's socially deviant, so to speak, and then actually being, pathological, problematic. How do you think people should know that what they're doing is not just, maybe socially deviant, but actually potentially a mental health problem? What are the sort of signs you think? Because I've had a few people say to me, because in my past they've reached out to me and they said, are these normal behaviours? And some are normal, and then some I'm thinking, actually, you know what, that's not. So what do you think are sort of, what crosses that line between just being a bit socially deviant and then actually this is actually a problem?
Yeah, okay. This is quite it's difficult to answer.
It is a difficult one.
But what also, going back to what I said at the start, I'm not saying every single bodybuilder's got an eating disorder. I'm saying that has some sort of disordered eating.
Yeah.
Which I think is, I know it's the same words in a different way around.
No, but it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Honestly, the only thing I feel like I can say to this is, if you're thinking about food, now that sounds weird, okay, but my biggest tip to anyone who's in in bodybuilding stuff is stop overthinking. If you're waking up and just the first immediate thought is like, what am I going to do with this food? What am I going to do with that food? Am I going to change my training split? Am I going to, because I need to increase calories. Where am I going to increase them? Stop fucking thinking. Like, I think that's the only answer for me, is that, like, if you're overthinking everything, you need to sort it out. Mm-hmm. Because overthinking it is bringing stress to you, bringing stress to your physique, going to make you look worse, and it's going to put you off doing the thing you need to do with the food.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if someone needs to increase food and they're stressing about increasing food, they're never going to increase it because they've stressed so much that they put on weight anyway from being so fucking stressed.
So just chill. Don't care. Stop thinking.
Yeah. And the problem with this is it's so much easier said than done. I can't say on the end of this podcast that my biggest advice is just chill out, bro. Because that's so much easier said than done.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not a psychologist. I can't help everyone with their problems. But
I think that brings it back to getting a coach as well, because that is something I think they can really help out with and take that external sort of pressure off you, because they will sort of dictate's the wrong word, because it should not be a dictatorship, a coaching relationship. It should be, a relationship, but they will be the ones to make those decisions for you. And I think that then takes that pressure off you to think about that.
Yeah. Or you don't have to get a coach. Talk.
Yeah.
Talk to someone. Like, I get a lot of DMs on Instagram, and I love that because I like helping people. That's why I do what I do. But if you're not going to listen to the advice, don't fucking ask.
Yeah.
Okay. Or don't be the person that asks 100 people the same question, wanting to get a certain answer.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will ask a question because they want to hear a certain answer.
Yeah.
Okay. Go in with an open mind and realise why you're asking the person that question. Normally because you want to learn so you're better. Okay. If someone you feel like you can trust or you look up to or whatever, and you ask them a question, listen to the fucking answer, because normally they know more than you.
100%.
And that's why you're asking them. But there's no point in asking it and then not doing what they're telling.
No, 100%.
Because I guarantee it's probably working better than what you're already doing.
Cool.
Driving yourself fucking insane, probably.
Yeah. So to sort of finish up, it's the signature final question that I ask everyone, and it does seem a bit weird to maybe ask this in the context of this podcast, and it's been about eating disorders and it's about food, this question, but it's what I ask everyone, so it's got to be done. What is your favourite cereal?
Oh, wasn't expecting that. I was expecting favourite 3-course meal.
No, that's too cliche. This is my signature thing, cereal. So, cereal.
Favourite cereal?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Macros don't count. Fuck macros.
Obviously.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, but I only eat the ones that don't have bad macros. Fuck.
Sorry.
I was prepared. Because I do like a rotation of them. When I get bored of one, I just go and get something else. Can I give a selection?
Go on. I'll let you off.
Yeah.
No more than three. 3 tops.
Okay. This is an unpopular opinion, I think. I don't know why I like them so much. They're fucking so nice. Special K, like with red berries.
See, I don't like berries, but I do like Special K. I think Special K is seriously underrated.
Yeah. But it's dried fruit, and dried fruit is the one.
I don't like fruit, so, but I'll appreciate
What?
it. No, don't hate me. I hate fruit.
Okay, next. I had them in America. You know, like Frosties?
Yeah.
There was like a cinnamon flavoured one.
I've had those in America. They are ridiculous.
Absolute heroin. Okay, I'm going with 4 because one's from the US, one's from the UK.
Okay,
so
go on. Okay.
Peanut butter Cheerios.
Yes. Oh my God. Forgot about them.
Oh, they are insane. And then, because I picked them up today and I haven't had them for I used to have these my last gaming phase, the game phase before that, Mateys, you know, the rip-off
Oh no.
Lucky Charm.
You were
They
doing
are
quite well until then.
Nah, fuck it, I love them.
Anyways, thank you very much, Christian, for your time. Hope everyone has enjoyed the podcast and us just rambling on. And we'll see you at the next one.